Love on Air.
Love on Air is a show about all things related to the human experience in connecting with one another. So, we're talking about love, dating, relationships, marriage, singlehood, falling in love, failing in love, breakups, the whole 9 yards, okay? And today, you, the listeners, are going to be my fine boys and fine girls. Yep, we're switching things up a little bit today, all right? So I have some hot takes that I'm going to share on the show today. And I'm going to open up the phone lines and I'd like for y'all to call in and share your thoughts and share your opinions on the different matters that I bring up on the show today. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're switching it up. Yeah, it's a switch up today. So really excited about that. It's going to be a fantastic show lined up for you. Also, don't forget the hashtag AskButter. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me, if you need some advice on anything, feel free to send a WhatsApp message and I will attend to your Ask Butter questions before the show runs out, all right, before our time's up today. All right, so like I said, we're switching things up a little bit. I'm going to share some hot takes, and I would love for the Love on Air listeners to give me a call. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. Yeah, let's talk, talk to me, talk to your girl. All right, so right now there's a video making its rounds on social media. All right, there's a video circulating right now of Ile crying on live with her face beaten up, swollen up, all right? She came on live because she was under attack by her father, okay? Ile is best known for winning BBN, Big Brother Naija Season 8. That was back in 2023. And, I thought this was interesting because, this speaks to father-daughter relationships. From what I know, father-daughter relationships are usually lovely and beautiful and blissful. And the daughters love their fathers and fathers love their daughters. So when I see something like this, I'm like, ooh, there's something fundamentally wrong here. For anyone who's seen that video, okay, the numbers to call 0201-635-1023. If you want to participate in this conversation, hit me up. I'll take the call. 0201-635-1023 is the number to dial. So like I was saying, when I saw this video, obviously you can tell that there's something fundamentally wrong with that father-daughter relationship, okay? The way her face was beaten up, it's like domestic violence. Domestic violence is domestic violence. It's not only, domestic violence isn't only from between spouses. A father beating up his 22-year-old daughter is domestic violence. And it wasn't like a little, I'll slap your face kind of beat up. He beat her up. It wasn't a slap. You can tell he punched her. He beat her up with closed fists. And she came on live with swollen face, saying, help me, help me, help me. And I guess she felt like that was the only way she could get him to get off her, because whenever he saw her on live, then he backed up. He didn't want to be on live. He didn't want to be shown in the video, beating her up. And so that's when he backed up off her. But, whatever the situation is, we don't know the full story, obviously. We don't know all the things that transpired prior to him beating her up like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's unacceptable. That ain't right. You know what I mean? You shouldn't beat up your grown daughter that much to where her face is swollen. She looked like she got in a fight. She looked like, she stole something and she got beat up. Obviously, some people might say, maybe she disrespected her father and all of that. We don't know. I don't know what happened. So I can't really get into the details of what happened. But all we know is that it's her birthday today. Actually, it's Ilebaye's birthday today. And she went to her father's house where her brothers live, to go hang out with them leading up to her birthday. But somewhere, somehow, an altercation went down. We don't know what happened. And the next thing, she comes on live crying, bawling her eyes out, face swollen, crying that her father has beaten her up. Obviously, she doesn't live there with her father. She doesn't live in his house. So she just came to visit. Which even makes me to just wonder even that much more, like what could have gone down. Like, y'all don't live together, so something is fundamentally wrong there, and it's really sad to see. Father-daughter relationships, from what I know, are usually just really beautiful. Fathers love their daughters so much, and daughters love their fathers, and fathers dote on their daughters. You know what I mean? My little princess, my angel. I know how my daughter is with her dad. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. It's designed to be beautiful. And mothers and their sons, it's like, that's kind of how it is. That dynamic is always like mothers, and mothers like love their sons and dote on their sons, and fathers love their daughters and dote on their daughters, and vice versa. So when you see something like this, it's really like heartbreaking. You can tell that there's something fundamentally wrong in the structure of that father-daughter relationship, and it's sad to see. And my heart goes out to Ilebaye, and today's her birthday of all days. If you can imagine her dealing with this on her birthday. Somebody can come and play devil's advocate and be like, well, that's her father. Fathers reserve the right to beat up their daughters. And, where this is Africa. This is African culture. I mean, yeah, that's like playing devil's advocate. Yeah, there's that. But like, you beat up your daughter that bad? We are Africans, and there's that. There's the culture, like, in the African culture, you're never too grown. You're never too grown for your parents. Your parents reserve the right to discipline you. But I feel like the older a person gets, the nature of the discipline must, it must be like fine-tuned. You cannot beat up your grown celebrity daughter like that. I mean, that's just my take on it. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Godwin.
Hi, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Godwin, calling from Papa.
Okay, hi Godwin. You want to share some thoughts on the Lebaye situation?
Yes, I want to share some thoughts on Ilebale. You guys should understand that we are in Africa. No matter how grown up is a child, because Ilebale is born into this, you should understand the fact that when I was growing up, my dad disciplined me a lot. So when I was even up to my 30s, my dad is disciplined. So Ilebale should understand that for father that they are too strict, even though their father are close to their daughter, my mother are son. So despite the fact I've not seen a picture about him like crying or his father, but you understand, I saw that he did something so wrong that is why he's not busy.
Did you see the video, Godwin? Have you seen the video?
I've not seen it. That is long seen.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you so much. So your angle is that this is Africa and our parents reserve the right to do with us as they please, right?
Yes, I'm not seen it. You're
Okay. Thank you so much for calling us, Godwin. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I feel like there's the angle of, oh, we're Africans. We Africans, as the way we do things. This Godwin just said his father beat him up, kept beating him until his 30s. Excuse me? This person is talking about the Ilebaye situation. This person says parents will be parents and they have the right to discipline us. I'm a millennial, and if I discipline my child and he or she decides that she doesn't want to be around me, so be it. But I won't have you around and you turn into something bad. We complain about moral decay in the society and parents not being able to discipline their words, no matter how old one is the problem. She probably went too far. Look, I just gotta say, I'm thankful for my parents, okay? Because as I got older, they definitely beat me less, because that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, she's 22, and it's just like for you to be dealing with this on your birthday, quite unfortunate that she's having to deal with that. But I mean, a little word of advice for our parents, okay? We are of different generations, okay? Our parents' generation is different. Ilibaya, for example, is a Gen Z child, okay? Gen Zs are known for cutting people off. For as long as you're affecting their mental health, they will cut you off. Regardless of who you are, they'll cut off their mother, they'll cut off their father, they'll friend. Who are you? If they can cut off their parents, they'll cut off their sister, cut off their brother, because they be going through stuff. Their mental health cannot deal with a lot. You know what I'm saying? So now that her father has done this and she had to come on live for him to back up off her and like stop beating her, like it's embarrassing for her that she's having to deal with this so publicly. You know what I'm saying? We're like, times have changed and our parents just need to kind of evolve with the times. You cannot beat up a grown child like this because guess what? You're not going to see her again. She's going to run away. So it's like you decide what's important to you. Is the discipline you asserting your authoritative figure, your authoritative stance, and like you being the figure of authority, is that more important to you than having a relationship with your daughter? I mean, these are the questions you have to ask as parents. This is what you have to ask yourself as a parent. I'm a parent, and I'm a millennial, and I'm a parent. So am I gonna parent the same way that my parents parented me? Yeah, I'll take certain things from it, but there most certainly are certain things that I would never do with my kids because times have changed. There's more information. We know better. We know that there are more effective ways to discipline your children besides beating them down. You know what I'm saying? Because all that physical assault is only gonna tear. It breaks the bond. So if you care to have a bond and a healthy relationship with your children, there's a way you have to approach it. And this approach that Ilebaya's father has taken, I'm not with it. And I'm sure their relationship is gonna tear. It's gonna break up and it's gonna fall apart even that much further. It's gonna fall apart that much more. So it's like, you decide what's important to you.
Love on air.
All right, so another hot take today. I find that a lot of people now are intentionally choosing and opting for singlehood. All right, lots of men and women nowadays are just kind of like over all the relationship stuff, or maybe relationships are too treacherous these days, and people are just like, yo, I think I'll just be single. There's a lot of that. Okay, people are intentionally opting for singlehood and choosing singlehood. And I would like to hear some thoughts. If you're one of those people, please hit me up and let me know why you have chosen to be single in this season of life. Speaking with some of my friends, the men that I've spoken to, I've heard that a lot of men are choosing to be single because of the women. I feel like there is a stance and an approach that women have these days, or like, an outlook that they have regarding relationships, which makes men kind of just pull back and fall back and not even want to engage. Okay, so of course there's the aspect where women feel so entitled in relationships and they bill guys, and men are feeling like, yo, if I have to spend so much money to be in a relationship, I think I'll just be single. Which I can't even be mad at that, to be honest. Because I mean, being in a relationship these days is very expensive, especially in this side of the world. I think anywhere, really. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like men are feeling like, yeah, relationship to date right now is too expensive. We all know the economy is already hard. So like on top of all the pressures of like, providing for yourself and taking care of yourself as a single man, then you have, a girlfriend who has all these demands. So it's like men are just like, okay, I'm just going to be single. And one of my friends said that men would rather call up a friends with benefit kind of arrangement. They'd rather do that and just kind of like, have fun sometimes where they all know what it is without having to have a girlfriend who's like they're constantly having to give her money for one thing or another. And then on the flip side, there are women who are choosing to be single because they've just been through a lot in the hands of men. Some women are just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to park this dating and relationship, just park it to one side for now and focus on myself, because they've just been heartbroken for so long. Like they've dealt with a lot, a lot of women pour so much into relationships, and at the end of the day, for one reason or the other, it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? And when you keep hitting roadblocks like that as a woman, you'll just be like, I think I'll just leave this relationship matter and just face the rest of my life. I mean, because there's so much more life outside of dating and relationships. People make it seem like relationships are the end all be all of living, but no, you can have a full life, full, healthy, happy life being single. And a lot of people are realizing that, and a lot of people are opting for that. And as far as like sexual needs and sexual desires, people are, finding alternative measures to satisfy those desires. This is just the world that we're living in today. Okay? I'm not making this up. All right? I've had so many conversations with so many people who are just done with dating. And there's also the aspect that there's nothing outside. There's nothing out there. Like the dating pool has gone to nothing. It's like it's almost as if you just can't even find quality people that you even want to like do life with out there right now, because people are just distracted. People have different motives and people have ulterior motives. People go into relationships for all the wrong reasons these days, and it's just scary. It's a jungle out there. Yeah, dating is not for the faint of heart. You have to be strong to be able to date. You have to be strong mentally. You have to be strong financially. You have to be strong spiritually. You have to be strong emotionally to be able to date right now. And the world is just like moving at a different pace right now. I feel like social media plays a big part in this, where we've gotten to right now in dating and relationships. But something ain't right in dating and relationships right now. And we just got to talk about it. And people are just like, okay, I think I'll just be single. So yeah, being single right now is a choice that some people, maybe not permanently, but I know people are kind of like just taking breaks. They're taking breaks and they're just kind of like, yeah, what are we doing? Because the dating world right now is very crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now. So if you're one of those people and you would like to share your experiences, or you want to share your thoughts on why you've chosen to stop dating, or at least take a break from dating, or why you're a single eligible bachelor, you're eligible but you have chosen to be single, please hit us up and share some of your thoughts with us. We're talking about hot takes, all right? So I have some messages here. Somebody sent a message about, men and women. People, before we went on break, we were talking about how people nowadays are opting for singlehood. Okay, people are just choosing to be single because, I guess, for their own individual reasons, okay? People have all their own personal reasons why they're choosing to be single. And I wanted y'all to share your take with me on that, okay? So I have this person here. From Godwin. Godwin says, Good morning, Max FM. Most men choose to be single not because of the financial aspect, but to be at peace. Some ladies are so annoying. I think personal peace and respect are paramount. No one can make you happy except yourself. I found someone of recent. She's super interesting. The energy are the same and the synergy is beyond my imagination. Well, congratulations to you. You just met someone great. But yeah, that's another angle. It's not only about the money, but yeah, some women, I guess, disrupt your peace. And yeah, people want to be at peace, man. People need peace. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, we don't know what happened. All we saw was her coming on live, crying with her face swollen. And she got a bad beating, okay? I feel like even if you want to discipline your child, you shouldn't beat them to the point where their faces are swollen. Like, there's discipline in your child. I'm with that. Even the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child, right? So I'm all about the rod. But you beat them to the point where their face is swollen, too far. That's my take on it. Too far. Too far, too far, too far. Anyways, thank you all so much for your opinions. Thanks for your messages. Yes, the phone lines are tripping, so you can hit me up on WhatsApp. Send me a WhatsApp message, 081-801-44343, okay? If you can't get through to the phone lines, you can send me a message sharing your opinions and your thoughts on these topics on 081-801-44343. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
Joshua from
Sorry?
Joshua from Ogun State.
Okay, Joshua from Ogun State. Joshua, what are your thoughts? You want to share your opinion?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to... Go ahead.
I
Sorry about that, Joshua. We lost you. Joshua was about to share his thoughts on something. You can send a WhatsApp message, like I said, 081-801-44343. Yeah, we're gonna move on. So we've talked about the Ilibaye and her father situation, and we've also talked about people opting to be single nowadays because of their own personal reasons, and because people realize, life goes on whether you're single or not. Like, you can have a full, healthy, happy life as a single person, and the world doesn't stop if you're single. Hello, good morning. Okay, so we're gonna move on. I have another hot take that I want to share.
Love on air.
Okay, let's talk about situationships. Yay! Yeah, let's talk about situationships, okay? So Google defines situationships as a romantic or sexual relationship that lacks a formal label, definition, or commitment, okay? For those of you who don't know what situationships are, that's how Google defines situationships. Situationships are romantic or sexual relationships that lack a formal label, definition, or commitment. So yeah, a lot of people find themselves in situationships nowadays because a lot of people have chosen to be single. Yeah, people don't want to commit. People are opting for singlehood, which leaves a lot of people in situationships where he's not your boyfriend, she's not your girlfriend, but y'all get together from time to time and spend time together and enjoy each other's company. And then you go back into your lives without feeling a level of pressure to stay connected or to do certain things that you would normally do if this person was your boyfriend or a girlfriend. And it's just, less strings attached. I wouldn't say no strings, but it's a lot less strings attached in situationships. And for me, my take on situationships, I think situationships could be beautiful. You know what I mean? Situationships have the potential to be a beautiful thing. All right? Because not everything has to lead to something. Some things are just meant to be. Just let them be and take them for what they are. Now, situationships start to become an issue when one person in the situation decides that they now want more. Okay? Now they want a label or a definition to what this thing is, because it's just a thing, it's just a situation, right? So then my take is that if it serves you, if you're getting what you want out of that situationship, whatever it may be, okay? It's personal and it's individual to everybody, right? But if the situationship serves you and you are fulfilled in it and you're getting what you want out of it, I don't see the problem. Okay? If you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun and things are going fine considering the circumstances, I don't see what the problem is, man. So there is room for situationships in this world. Okay? Because situationships get a bad rap all the time. But it shouldn't be that way. Like, situationships are needed in life. They are essential. You know what I mean? So it's not all bad. That's my take on it. Situationships aren't necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on where the people, if the two individuals involved, two or three or multiple, whatever, the world is changing. But as long as the people in the situationships, if it's serving them, if they're happy in it, if it's fulfilling them, if they're getting pleasure and joy from the situationships, then I don't see the problem. Okay? So, a lot of people are in situationships, but somehow people just believe situationships are a bad thing. They're not. They're not, okay? But they just are what they are. A situationship is a situationship. And you just got to take it for face value and just go with the flow. But the moment you start to want more and you start to want to define it, maybe societal pressure, or maybe your friends are telling you to ask, so what are we? What are we doing? When you get to that point, then you gotta fall out. You gotta pull out of that situationship, because then it's no longer serving you and it's no longer for you. Okay? Then you need to go be with someone who wants to be in a relationship. But the person in the situationship wants to be in a situationship. And that's allowed, okay? That is okay. I have some Ask Butter questions here. But before I get to that, I have some thoughts and opinions on some of the hot takes that I had that I've shared earlier today. I have some WhatsApp messages from some of the listeners. Thank you all so much for sending your messages. So I'm going to read some right now. All right. So this person says, I guess this is regarding people choosing to be single. This person says, my dear, please don't believe the hype. People are getting hitched every Saturday. The ones that say they want to stay single are probably within your circle and the internet. Also, why are there so many single mothers out there these days? The fact is, people are still getting hitched. They just became selfish that they don't want to be responsible and held accountable. Well, that's another angle. Yeah, people are definitely getting married every Saturday. That much we know. Oh, I'm best Saturdays. But they're like, I don't know how many people in Nigeria, like 190 million people in Nigeria. So for all the people getting married, there are also so many people that are single, whether by choice or not. You know what I mean? So that's just it. That's why I want like different thoughts and opinions on this. So thank you so much for your message. This person says, what is the difference between situationship and friends with benefit? Okay, they're essentially the same thing. Yeah. Essentially the same thing. Friends with benefit, situationship, whatever you want to call it. It's just people who are enjoying each other's companies without really committing to one another, without, formally labeling anything or all the pressures that come with dating and relationships. So yeah, you can call it situationship. You can call it friends with benefit. Same thing. Thank you so much for that message. All right, we have Solomon here from University of Ibadan. He says, good morning. My opinion on the reason for people opting for singleness is because most ladies want a finished product. They don't want to build with any man. Meanwhile, things are not that easy to be easily made as a man. Yo, Solomon, I have people clapping for you in the studio. Lake, I feel like they can relate. There are young men in the studio today. Who can relate?
I'm in the studio with Ninja Bora. Thank you, man. 10 over 10 for you.
Yeah, shout out to you, Solomon. I mean, yeah, that's another angle. Okay, women want finished products. It is what it is, but it doesn't always work that way. But yeah, thank you so much, Solomon, for that message. And this person says, "Good morning, DJ Butter. Situationships fall in different categories nowadays. Love only works when the riches are there, not for poor partners these days." This is Sixtus from Ijaye Ojokoro. Thank you all so much for your thoughts and your opinions. Thank you for sending your messages into the show today. The phone lines didn't really cooperate with us, but we moved over to WhatsApp, and yes, really appreciate that. All right, so I have some Ask Butter questions here that I'm going to take. I'm going to take one really quickly. All right, this person says, this person says, "Please hide my identity. I'm 29 years old and I'm 2 years in marriage." All right. Sex has always been a problem for us because for the 2 years, my husband has only demanded for sex 3 times. I have always been the one asking, not because I need it, but because I feel sex shouldn't be absent in marriage. We spent 3 months without it at one point. When I got pregnant till delivery, it only happened twice. And that was because I pushed for it. And I have spoken to him several times. And he said sex is not his thing presently. We're going on 10 months without it now. And I asked if he had health challenges. He should tell me so that we can work on it. He said if he had health challenges, will I get pregnant? I told my pastor and they spoke to him. But still no changes. And he has started avoiding my pastor. I told his mom and she said I should just keep asking. And presently he thinks that I'm addicted and that's why I always talk about it. And I told him if I'm addicted to sex, then I won't do without it in a month. Please, what should I do? This is a lot. I mean, sorry you're going through this, but I don't know what you can do to get him to change. But I think maybe your husband is gay. Yeah, there's a lot of that happens. Maybe your husband doesn't like women. Maybe he has a male lover somewhere. Because how do you go 10 months without sex in a marriage? And how old are you? 29? How old could he be? Is he like an old man? Did you marry an old man who's like losing his teeth? I don't know, girl, because if he's not getting it from you, he's getting it from somewhere. Okay? And maybe you're just not his preference. Maybe he prefers men. Sorry, I said it. Maybe this is not what you wanted to hear today. But, there's also that. There's a lot of that happens in marriages. Lots of men are on the down low. They're married and they have kids and, they have the front of, the normal married man, the family. They use that as a front. But really, on the down low, they like men and they're gay and they're sleeping with men. Yeah, it happens, okay? It happens. Now, I don't know if this is what's happening, but, this is a thought you should keep in your mind. Or another angle is maybe your husband just doesn't like you. Maybe he doesn't like you like that. That happens too. Look, my thoughts might be unorthodox, but these are things that happen. Okay? Maybe your husband doesn't like you like that. Or maybe he has a girl on the side. He definitely has someone else, either a girl or a man. There's someone else, okay? So it's up to you what you do with this information, but there is someone else, okay? It's either a man or another woman, because going in a marriage without sex for 10 months, he don't like you, sis. He likes someone else. Maybe he likes men. If he says sex is not his thing, maybe sex with women is not his thing. And you know, homosexuality is illegal in this country, so he has to keep it on the down low. Like, even if he wishes to like be married to a man and live his life openly and free, he can't do that in this country. So he just has to keep you around, you know, just as a front. And it's so sad and sounds crazy what I'm saying, but it happens, okay? Lots of men are on the down low, and they just have relationships as a front, as a cover for the real lives that they live on the down low. So yeah, thank you so much for your question there. I hope that helps you a little bit. Hope so. Anyway, thank you so much for sending in your message. The lady who her husband hasn't slept with her for 10 months. This person says, I think she should feed him food that makes him horny. Some people just have low libido. It doesn't necessarily mean he's gay. I mean, if that's the case, then he should like be open and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is why this is your wife. You should be able to have these conversations. But yeah, I guess there are some foods that could make you horny, and some fruits or even some herbs. You know, men drink all kinds of crazy things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so maybe she should look into that. That's a nice one. Thank you so much for that one. This person says, hi, my name is Itunu from Agric Ikorodu. Concerning your topic on single issue, I think there are different reasons why people are single. But for me, I would say people are single due to heartbreak from from previous relationships. Biblical prophecy. Well, that was number one. Number one is people are single due to heartbreaks from previous relationships. And then number two is biblical prophecy. The Bible says some are created as none and some are born as nuns. Okay. And then number three, universal intervention. Some, for the fact that they haven't met the person that suits their zodiac sign or the right divine partner, they will keep remaining single. All right. Thank you so much, Itunu from Agric Ikorodu. Really appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and get right into the DJ Butter tips of the day.
Love on air.
All right, today on the DJ Butter tips, we're going to be talking about 4 things that your partner secretly wants in bed but won't ask for. Okay, I had to break it to you, but your partner probably has an entire list of things that they would want to try in the bedroom, but they're too shy to bring it up. Okay, and no, it's not because they're hiding some secret life from you. It's only because, sadly, talking about sex is still weird for most people in 2026. All right. A study from 2024 in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that better sexual communication was linked to higher daily sexual satisfaction for both partners, okay? An even broader meta-analysis found that sexual communication is tied to both sexual and overall relationship satisfaction. That means that if you and your partner haven't talked about at least one of the things that are on this list yet, then you need to do so tonight. All right. Number 1, more direction and less guessing. All right. The bedroom is no place for subtlety. A lot of people secretly want their partners to be way more specific about their wants and desires in bed. And no, this doesn't mean that you need to give speeches mid-action, okay? Simple directions will work, all right? So just enough direction, more than enough to get the job done, all right? If you know, you know. A little, we're not like giving whole speeches, but a little direction, little nudges here and there will do the trick, all right? Number 2, to feel wanted and not just available. All right. Let's call it the foreplay before the foreplay. Your partner most likely wants signs that you desire them. That means flirting throughout the day, touching without immediately initiating sex, kissing, things like that. All right. And number 3 thing that your partner wants, but is too afraid to tell you, is permission to be a little weird. All right. Everyone has fantasies. Yes, even your partner. Sex researcher Justin Lehmiller surveyed more than 4,000 Americans and found out that 79% want to act on their favorite fantasy. Sadly, fewer than 25% had actually done so. All right, that doesn't mean that every intimate encounter needs to be kinky AF, but sometimes you and your partner need to explore something new, if only to make sure everyone is as comfortable as possible together. And number 4 thing that your partner wants and won't tell you in bed is aftercare, okay? Even if nobody calls it that, aftercare. When you shift your focus to the bedroom or to try new things, it can be easy to forget about the fallout. Still, not everything your partner wants and enjoys happens during sex. Sometimes it's the stuff that comes after that matters. Cuddling, talking, touching. Research on post-sex affection found that longer, more satisfying affection after sex was linked with higher sexual and relationship satisfaction. At the end of the day, your partner isn't looking for perfection. They simply want someone who is interested, who gives them attention, and who is brave enough to share their desires with them. All right? So tell them what you like, because nobody can read minds, especially when they're already turned on. So there you have it, guys. Those are the DJ Butter tips of the day. Yes, I guess that brings me to the end of the show today. 19 minutes past the hour of 11. Thank you all so much for rocking with me today. It's been an amazing show. We switched things up a little bit today, you know. It was good. I got some feedback. I shared some of my hot takes. Yeah, we might bring this back again at another time. But yes, thank you all so much for rocking with me like you always do. Are you single and ready to mingle? If you would like to be a fine boy or a fine girl on Love on Air, you would like to come here and be my guest, please send a WhatsApp message to 081-801-44343. All right, that's 081-801-44343. And you can come and join me on the show and you be my guest. And you know, there's so much that goes on the show today. On the show normally, Love on Air is a show about all things related to the human experience in connecting with one another. All right, so please be a fine boy or a fine girl on the show by sending a WhatsApp message with your name and hashtag Love on Air to 081-801-44343, and somebody will be in touch with you, you know, to give you more information on how we can make that happen. Love on Air is coming to an end for today, but I will be back again same time next week, Saturday at 10 a.m. So make it a date with me right here on Max 102.3 FM. My name is DJ Butter, and I love you so much for listening. TTYL, don't touch that dial. Keep it locked to Max 102.3 FM.